Give it up for Jef Heath.
All right. Thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you so much. I almost didn't make it here on time tonight. Traffic is horrible in Southern California. I think people are doing whatever the hell they want these days out there. Like last week, I saw a guy eating an extra large hoagie sandwich while driving on the 405 freeway. I mean, this guy was jamming that hoagie down his gullet like a pelican eating a chubfish. I don't know if he was making that sound, but... And he was weaving in and out of traffic. I mean, I thought for sure this guy was gonna crash. It finally got so bad, I finally turned to him and said, "Dad, put the goddamn sandwich down! You should have eaten at the senior center when we had a chance." Old people. Having old parents just means that I'm old too. And I am. I'm old. I know this because I've started collecting soy sauce packets. Yeah. Every time I order Chinese food, I end up with these extra soy sauce packets. And they're beautiful. They're brand new in pristine condition. I can't throw them away. So now I have a huge tub of them sitting on my kitchen counter. I have enough soy sauce to season every dumpling in China for the next 3 years. I tried stuffing them in my closet, but that's where I store my big ball of rubber bands and used dry cleaner hangers. I read in the news, I'm not sure what you're saying, but I think it's hilarious. I read in the news today that there is a national shortage of Adderall. So now, unfortunately, parents who have children with ADD are not able to get high as often. And that's a bummer, right? Because what's the point in having kids if you can't steal their drugs? My nephew said to me the other day, he's like, "Hey, Uncle Jeff, check it out. I learned how to throw a curveball." And I was like, "That's nice. Now let's get to the important shit. Where's your Ritalin stash?" Kids need to learn priorities, right? But remember when we were kids, how joyful and excited we got when our parents told us we were going to Disneyland? We were like, "Yes! Yes! We're going to Disneyland! We're going to Disneyland! We're going to Disneyland! We're going to Disneyland!" Right? Why can't we be that joyful and excited now, at this age, when we get good news? You know, the world would be such a happier place. Like now, if a doctor comes to me and says, "Mr. Heath, we've determined that you do not need to have another colonoscopy for the next 10 years. And I'm like, let me get this straight. There's nothing going in my tailpipe for another 10 years? What's wrong with me doing this? Zippity-doo-dah! Nothing in my tailpipe, nothing in my tailpipe, nothing in my tailpipe." This is me twerking. Nothing in my tailpipe. Nothing wrong with that. It's not like a doctor's all bummed out that he's not going to give me a colonoscopy for 10 years, right? He's not looking at my ass going, "Damn, I'm going to miss getting all up in there." Because that is one sweet booty. So juicy. That's a shame. That is a shame. The thing about getting old for me, the problem I have getting old is I gotta pee all the time. It is, it's constant, all day, every day, nonstop, up and down, back and forth from the bathroom. It's exhausting. I've gotten to the point where I don't even care anymore if I pee in my pants. Thinking of starting my own brand of adult diapers and calling them Fuckits. Right? And I think that's a perfect name for diapers, right? I think that's how it all should be, because he just says what it is. I think that's how all branding should be, right? Just say what the thing is. You know, like these bars and restaurants with these fancy names like La Charte Elegance. I mean, with a name like that, I don't know if I'm drinking champagne or eating day-old meat pie. If I owned a bar, I'd call it Shit Faces. Because you know what you're getting there. Yeah. And the advertising would just write itself. Come on down to Shit Faces. Strap on a pair of fuckets and come on down. Take the load off or leave it on. We don't care. We're Shit Faces. Tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in the 1970s, and I was raised in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Now, back in the 1970s, the Seventh-day Adventist Church was this obscure church. No one knew anything about us. Most people thought we were a cult. So growing up, I was definitely the weird kid on my block. The fact that I talked to myself and often wore a plastic fireman's helmet probably didn't help much. But for those of you who are not familiar with Seventh-day Adventists, we're a lot like the Mormons, except our underwear isn't magical. At least mine aren't. I'm wearing fuckets. Which are sort of magical, but not in the Mormon way. But like the Mormons, Seventh-day Adventists don't drink, we don't dance, and our parties suck balls. But we're those people who go to church on Saturdays, so we're also similar to the Jewish religion, except Kanye West isn't pissed at us. He obviously hasn't been to one of our shitty parties. Yeah. Now, my parents raised me, though, to be deeply committed to Christian values, which I'm pretty sure is just a fancy way of saying yard work. But this is how they kept me out of trouble, right? My parents, I think their entire parenting strategy was based on some obscure text in the Bible that said something like, "Keepeth thy boy busy, he won't have time to playeth with his wiener." Which just goes to prove that the Bible can be wrong up to 2 to 3 times a day. But I had to do all sorts of chores. I had to hoe weeds. Oh, weeds. I made that sound too. It didn't get me out of the job. But I had to rototill the yard. I mean, both my parents grew up on farms, so I even had to milk the cat. Which basically got me a lot of this. Now, as I mentioned, I grew up in the 1970s, so in addition to being sort of a religious family, we were also super groovy. We loved that 70s style. My whole family did. I mean, my dad had a handlebar mustache and did a shitload of Quaaludes. I'm just kidding. My dad did not have a handlebar mustache. It was more of a porn mustache. But my mom had one of those beehive hairstyles and had a cheese fondue set. And my sister had that whole Marsha Brady thing happening. I, for one, had mutton chops. And I was only 9. I also wore bright orange bell-bottoms and 10-inch platform shoes, which made me taller at the age of 9 than I am now. People mistook me for one of the Osmond brothers, the chubby one who couldn't dance. But we were also a frugal family, always looking for ways to save a little money here and there. So whenever my older sister grew out of her clothes, my mom would sneak them into my closet and stuff them between my clothes when I wasn't looking, as if I'd wear them to school and not notice that I was the only boy in my 5th grade class wearing a lady's pantsuit. I looked like a young Hillary Clinton with a very aggressive camel toe. Yeah. Now hold on one second. I'm forgetting what I was going to do. Give me 1 second. My brain. Now I'm a lover, not a fighter. I never learned how to fight when I was a kid. But growing up watching the Three Stooges on TV, I did pick up a few good self-defense moves. Like this one, right here. Do you remember this one? I mean, Mo would come out there swinging, trying to poke his fingers and do all that shit, and Curly would shut him down with this move. Now, the key to this move, though, is you really got to sell it with the crazy eyes. So now whenever I'm at a bar or a restaurant and a guy gets drunk and wants to start a fight with me, I can be like, "Not today, motherfucker! Not today! You can take that shit somewhere else!" Yeah. Now, my dad never had the talk with me about the birds and the bees when I was growing up. The closest he ever got was when I was 8 years old. He came into my room and handed me a condom and said, "Here, put that on your penis and don't take it off till you're 40. To which I responded, "What's a penis?" So my dad dropped his pants and lifted his leg up on my little desk. And he said, "Son, this is a penis. And if I might add, it's a perfect penis." Well, the next day at school, I wanted to share what I'd learned with all my other little buddies, 8-year-old buddies. So I gathered them all up and took them into the boys' bathroom, dropped my jeans, lifted my leg up on the sink counter, and said, "Gentlemen, feast your eyes on that bad boy. That baby right there is called a penis. And I've been told if it were just 2 inches shorter, it would be a perfect penis." I missed it by that much. That's my time, everybody. Thank you.
Jef Heath, Jef Heath.